client coming up in a week.
Mhm.
And I spoke to her mother today, and I'm a
Mhm.
bit like uneasy because she's coming in person, and
Mhm.
she's a 24-year-old girl that has a mild CP, what's that? Cerebral palsy.
Mhm.
She was born, before she was born, basically, she had a bowel. I spoke to her mother today to find out more. She had a bowel movement while in the womb and she inhaled. So when she
Yeah.
was born, they had to pump her out. So there was brain, she has brain, she can inhale oils. The reason what happened, I mean, they were okay with all of it. They're fine. 2 years ago, when the COVID started, well, whenever that, but about 2 years ago, she started, when it started all that, basically, she's hearing a voice in her head. And she's in agony. And it happened after, for the first time, she went with her mother to a store, like a big store, like Costco and stuff, wearing a mask, and came out. And the father met them, in a car, and he noticed a different look in her eyes. So they basically, for the last 2 years, they went to all the doctors, psychologists. They can't even, they checked psychiatrists. There's like they couldn't even diagnose her with schizophrenia because she doesn't fit the box. But the voice is there, and it's sometimes nice, sometimes not, sometimes annoying, sometimes, but it's always annoying. Sometimes nice, sometimes not.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, she's in the age range of when schizophrenia can have an onset, and it doesn't mean that it's schizophrenia, but it's and it's interesting that you even brought it up. Just because of the voice, people can have voices. Sometimes the voice is a little bit of hallucination. But the things with, like, even if we go to the extreme where it's schizophrenia, there is a component that is hallucinating, and then there's another component that is self-dialogue. And with schizophrenics, the self-dialogue, the things that kind of goes through their head, they're really like brutal to themselves. Like they're it's just really super negative, directed at the self. And so I'm sure she's going to say some of the things that might come up, and I'd pay attention to it, but I'd also don't give it like tons of energy. Still just look at it as it's just a reflection of something going on, because we don't want them to get too fixated on the things that they hear. And
Oh, I'm not even gonna do that. My
yeah.
question was like, I'm not even like, that's like, to me, as soon as she said, it's like it felt more like a kind of trauma disassociating fear, or whatever she picked, some energy perhaps,
Has
because
there
she's
been any drug use by her?
no,
Okay.
no, no. She's a,
She has a bunch of tears in her protective webs, and
yeah,
so
that's what I felt.
um,
So what can
yeah. So sometimes that can be because of mineral imbalances. Like a lot of times it's a physiological thing, but the thing to do, like if you go through and try to like energetically repair each one, like it repairs and then it tears again. Like it really comes down to kidney function. And one of the things that I've used in the past with things like this is you would have them inhale myrrh,
Mhm.
and um, the whole time the awareness is on the kidneys. Like you just keep putting them, redirecting them to have their awareness on the kidneys. And
Mm.
if you think about it, like there's the physical energy, and even within the organs there can be emotional, mental energies. But the kidneys, because of the Ming Men's constantly taking energy from the lower centers and shooting it up high, right? It's shooting it up to the brain and to the upper chakras and things. And you could say, in a way, that the kidneys open up into the ears, like the jaws and the ears. And so anytime where you have potential for hearing voices, hallucinations, especially auditory hallucinations, or just really aggressive self-dialogue, it might not be the complete fix, but it's always the starting point is you go after those kidneys really hard. And so, whatever healing stuff you do, like you could target the kidneys, but inhaling myrrh for quite a while, like she'll be on that for a bit, but like it should start to repair itself in the first session. Like it should start reducing. If it's a hallucination, it will reduce the hallucination. The harder thing to get rid of is the harsh self-dialogue. That takes a little bit, and there is I do have some like notes I think I've given you guys on self-dialogue. It hasn't been like super involved, but ironically, I think that actually in the class that's coming up in December, the health raise class with anger, anxiety. Let me see.
You see, the voice is sometimes positive and nice, so it's not all negative. She said it's sometimes nice, sometimes bad, but it is always annoying because it's disrupting her state of being.
That it's nice or not, that she's even talking about it that way is a little bit of something's up.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody has dialogue in their head, but it's almost like they get too fixated on the dialogue and don't pay attention to the stimuli coming in through the senses or through the environment. There's too much of a fixation. And it's good that they had her evaluated, but given her age and everything, it's still like
oh, they did everything. She's even on the phone, Zoom with the doctor. I mean, they did everything. They immediately took her to 911. They did CT scan, MRI, all kind of stuff. Oh, one more thing. Since that incident, she also had a jaw surgery. So I don't know if that has to do with that.
Probably not so much with the issue. There might be issues with the surgery, but probably not.
No. Okay.
The age is a bigger, like the age and other functions are much more of a concern than the jaw thing.
Okay. So because she's
treat the kidneys for a little bit and then see how she responds, and I'll dig up some notes about self-dialogue for you.
Yes, please.
I'm looking at the booklet, and it's not in the booklet that I gave you guys. It's in some other notes.
Yes, please, absolutely. And would you recommend her to inhale other oils? Anything else for health raise? Just myrrh, plain myrrh. Because her mother, she's about oils and everything, so she's been doing a lot of
for a little bit. Just simply myrrh.
Okay.
Tension on the kidneys.
Yeah, tension on the kidneys. You could even take a couple drops internally, but inhale with awareness on the kidneys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not like an entity and stuff. It's just because
no, it's a lot of times it's just an imbalance in the in the physiology, but even the hallucination is like when you get significant tears up on some of the upper centers of you're just picking up like chatter that's always kind of there, but your webs kind of keep it out. And so the hallucination is just picking up information from the environment that, most times, even when people like look at something where, you could think like, oh, maybe there's something attached to them or an entity of some sort or something. It's usually elementals. It's just a parasitic infection, like, energetic parasites.
Thank you so much for saying that, because that's what immediately I thought, oh, it's an entity, but then I felt into it. I was like, no.
Even like in the church, when they do exorcisms, you think they're casting out a big demon or something. Nope, they're casting out cockroaches. They're just kicking out, a big nest of cockroaches that, they're etheric parasites. They're just those things will affect behavior. They will affect, thoughts and emotions, your physiology. They're pretty substantial. And so, even if you treat them aggressively, it needs to still always be soft, just super, super soft.
Loving.
Yeah.
Love them to death.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Greg. And yeah, if you can find those notes out.
Yeah, I'll have
This
to
is
dig them up.
the
Yeah.
reason that it's like this is a whole new ballgame for me.
Mhm.